Eyes to see, that's what I long for. Your eyes, they see my every need.
Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. The name is Virginity. Thank you so much for joining me today. So on today's conversation, we're just going to talk all things purity culture. Does your value really decrease every time you have sex? So the aim of this conversation really is to cause you to reflect on the ways that you view sex right now, the harming ways rather that you view sex right now, either because of your church or because of your culture, whatever it is. But just take time and reflect. And if you are on a celibacy journey, which means not having sex until you are married, if you're on that journey, just some things that you might need to consider right now while you're waiting. Let's get into it then. I am in no way, shape or form saying, or encouraging rather, that we should not wait until marriage to have sex. Listen, the Bible is very clear on that, and I do not want to intentionally, knowingly tell you something that is opposite the Bible. No, I'm not gonna do that. That's not me. I'm on the journey myself. But what I am noticing is the harmful ways that this has damaged me. So a purity pledge would be a pledge that you would make and sign that you would not have sex until you are married. I don't know how this all looks like for everybody. I remember doing this when I was about 16 years old, when I went to like a church save your sex before marriage type of event, I think you would call it. I don't know. So yeah, I remember doing that. The only thing I didn't recognize was a purity ball. So I did do some research on what a purity ball is. And basically it is an event that where you would have all, I guess, young ladies, young girls who would join the event with their dad and make the promise, I guess, with their fathers that they would save themselves into marriage. And the whole point of that is to, I guess, symbolize you giving that to your dad, and your dad then giving that to your husband when you meet him at the altar. Now, my biggest issue with purity culture is how we've made an idol out of sex, out of waiting until marriage. You know, it's become something that is so big, and it's, yes, sexual immorality is a sin. Let's be real, it is. But we've put it on a pedestal, and I think that's what we do as humans. It's just a human saying, this is my standard of purity, and I'm gonna share this with everybody else so that they can reach this standard too. Not listen to their own discernment, not use their own relationship with God, but use me as a tool and a guide. That's my biggest issue about it. But I'm gonna go into 3 things about it that I personally do not like, or 3 ways that I've been affected by it. And right now I'm trying to unlearn all of this and detach myself from all of this. So number 1 is that sex is for the man. And I'm not saying this is what they have said out loud, but in different ways, subconsciously, that's what we were told, you know, by saying things like, the best gift you can give your husband on your wedding night is sex. Like your virginity, like, come on. I think the best gift you give your husband is the best version of yourself, mate, bro. Like, your commitment, your honesty. But I digress. I think this goes hand in hand with what I've been taught in African culture as well. Whenever I've attended bridal showers or anything, they've really made a big deal of sex and of the pleasure that you can give your man, you know. I've been told, or we've been told, you know, things like, whenever your husband wants it, just give it to him. You know what I'm saying? And that subconsciously already tells the ladies who are in the room that it's not for you, it's for the man. It's not for your pleasure. It is not something that was meant between 2 people to connect and show service, I guess, to one another. It's something purely for the man, and I think that's very dangerous. I low-key have that mentality that I'm trying to detach myself from, and I'm just hoping that with time. So the second thing I have come across that I dislike about purity culture is your value being dependent on how pure you stay until marriage. Your value being dependent on the fact that you're still a virgin by the time you get married. Analogies like, this glass of water, it's clean, it's clear from sin. Every time you have sex, honey, throw in some sand. Throw sand. This is what you become. You know what I mean? That makes people feel as though my worth diminishes or decreases each time that I have encountered sex, each time that I've encountered any, sexual immorality of any kind. I am here to tell you that your worth does not decrease every time that you have had sex. Your worth did not decrease. Your worth was not diminished. Your worth is not diminished to this day. You are fearfully and wonderfully made by the author. There is nothing that you can do to make him love you more, and there's nothing that you can do that will make him shut the connection with you. He wants that connection with you. He desires that connection with you all the time. That's what he's been seeking. That's what he's been trying to do. Make that reconnection with you ever since sin entered the world. The third thing that I dislike about purity culture is how we're not given healthy views of sex. Whether or not the intentions were pure to begin with, it's something that will only help you to a certain point. It's not something that helps you have a healthy sex life. It's not like they're teaching us how to have a healthy sex life once we do get married. It's like, we're just gonna tell you not to have sex, and then when you get married, toodles, see ya. You got this, do it on your own. As if all of a sudden, you have the ring on your finger, you have now said your vows. Oops. You have now you've now been pronounced husband and wife. All of a sudden, you think you're gonna go on and be great. You're gonna go on and be great in your sex life. So, to whoever who's heard the messages of purity culture, I just want to make sure that you're not internalizing this and making an idol off of it and making, holding your identity on this. You know what I'm saying? I want to make sure that you're not putting this higher than your relationship with God. If there's one thing that I've learned in the Christian walk in general, is to learn to discern the truth for yourself, to learn to discern the voice of God for yourself, and to learn to discern your convictions versus another person's convictions, or where you're at in your journey and your walk with God versus where another person is at in their journey and they walk with God. So this culture, or this purity culture, this purity movement, it does not allow you to think for yourself, make decisions for yourself because of your loving relationship with Jesus, but out of fear that you are going to die in the pits of hell, out of fear that, I don't know, or maybe not even out of fear, but out of this desire for God and the angels to come down on you on your wedding night because you have waited, and it's like, well done, my good and faithful servant. No. There's no choir that's going to happen all of a sudden on your wedding night because you've waited. So even in that aspect, there's that aspect of you feel that you are purer than, lovelier than, more worth and more valuable than the next person because you have waited. So I know I wasn't able to go into each and every single one in depth, but in a nutshell, purity culture must die. The actual essence of waiting until marriage, though, I don't think that should die because it's still the word of God and it's still something that God has desired from us. The Bible doesn't change. But the long-lasting effects that purity culture has had on people that I have known, crazy, is not worth it. For those of you who are on a celibacy journey right now, I do encourage you to keep on going on the journey. I do encourage you to keep at it, but definitely ask yourself why you're doing it. Are you doing it for an applaud from Jesus at the end of the day? Or are you doing it genuinely because of your love and devotion to him? You know, the reason that you're doing something could be just as bad as actually doing the thing. So definitely look at why are you doing it, because your intentions in everything that you do, bad or good, your intentions truly matter. Sex is really not a bad thing. I want all of you guys to have wonderful, flourishing sex lives, okay? So change your mind here. Work on how you view it right now. If there's anything that you can do right now, is to work on yourself in that department. Naturally, I'm a very reflective person, and there's a lot that I've had to reflect on in terms of how I already view men, how my culture, where I was brought up in South Africa, how it changed the way that, you know, I did view men, my own life experiences, the kind of men that I'll come in contact with, everything. You know, it does have an impact on how I view this in a nutshell, and just everything together makes for a ball of confusion. But I just want everybody out there to really take time to just really think about how you view this. You want to feel sexually liberated. You want to feel free in terms of how you view it. You know, it shouldn't be something that holds you back from enjoying it completely. You know what I'm saying? So you, girl, and I say girl right now intentionally, because it's the girls that be damaged because of purity culture. So girl, own your sexuality. Own it. That's enough. Bye. Thank you so much for watching this video. I do hope you gained something from it. It's really hard to like go in depth with this video. Maybe we'll do a part 2. I don't know. But thank you so much for joining in, and bye. See you in the next video.